Hey guys, how you going? It's Damien here, and I wanted to share with you this little video on how we're using ChatGPT and how I'm using it to really speed things along, help with copywriting and just general background stuff. But yeah, just so to give you an example, in this thread, I'm trying to get a bit of a starting point to send an email out to our database. And so what I decided to do, I started the prompt by saying, so you're starting a new thread and we're saying this is what this whole thread is going to be about. We're going to work on an email to my database. I'm going to give you several of my previous emails so you can see my style and the usual things I talk about. And then you've got to tell it that you don't want it to actually do anything for now. Otherwise, it will just start having a guess at writing an email based on what you tell it. So I then pasted in a couple of emails that I've sent previously just so I can see the type of emails I've sent and my style. And then so you can see here it says, thanks for sharing these email examples with me. I now have a clear understanding. So tell me what you want me to help with. So then I said, so we're going to write an email, ironically, about ChatGPT and how we're using it in our agency. The end goal is to get the recipient to click a link to vote on their current understanding and usage. So we've told it what the goal is. And then we've this is like I've been trying to figure out, thinking about it for the last few minutes, should I include like a personal story to start the email, or should I just keep it like strictly value-based and email? So why not ask ChatGPT? So I said it could be purely informational, or we could have that story. And I said, what do you think would be most successful? And then this is really important. You've got to tell it who your audience is, because it will use the information you give it to make a better decision. So mixture of business owners, marketing professionals, some know me personally, but most of them just downloaded some content I've created. So it said, based on your audience of business owners and marketing professionals, I'd suggest leading with the information. So it says just use the story as a side point, basically. So I've then said, okay, so now write me 5 potential subject lines for this email. Keep them short and have them invoke curiosity in the reader. Now, this is why I wanted to start recording this video. I was just going to do a video about the end result, but it's important to know when to stop. So it started writing these subject lines, and there's a button that pops up here saying stop generating, which I immediately did, because as soon as you start seeing output like this, it's sort of using big words and like jargon, and it's just not engaging, and it's not really good copywriting. So you've actually got to really tell it. And even though I gave it examples, sometimes it seems to forget the stuff you tell it earlier. I've noticed that's a really important thing. So what you can do is go back and edit your original input. And so now I've said, write me 5 potential subject lines, keep them short and have them invoke curiosity in the reader. Use small words wherever possible. Keep writing at, now I've done 6th grade level. That's actually a bit too simple. So I'm actually now saying it 7th grade level. Okay, that's just general good writing guidelines. So then if I save this, it's then going to start again with the writing. So then we've got to really, this is where it comes in. It's not just a matter of just saying, do this for me. You've got to really evaluate what it's doing and make sure it's actually good. And these are still a bit generic. So what we can actually do, we can go back and change our prompt again. I could probably just say it here. Give me 5 more, but make it more personal. Try to make it more interesting and unexpected. So, all right, so now you can see this is really interesting. It's gone back to our original input. And even though it said use, we didn't say either take this option or take that option. As soon as I said make it more personal, now it's starting to use my earlier inputs. And this is starting to look a lot better. So now we can use a bit of a combo. So my 10-year-old son's Zelda adventure unlocks ChatGPT secrets. So these are, I think these are way better than the original ones, because just in terms of, if you'll see an email in your inbox, these don't stand out. These are kind of the same as everything else, but one of these might actually be a good one. So the next step is to pick one of these and then decide how we can improve it. That's a good one. That sounds like some kind of news headline, not that good. That's a bit generic and vague. That's a good one. Although I want to mention ChatGPT because it is like a real buzzword at the moment. So I reckon I'm going to go with the first one. So let's just say we really agree on the first one, and then we say use the first subject line, write me the email to go along with it. The background story that I asked my son, I was showing my son ChatGPT for the first time. He is, so you don't have to really like edit yourself when you're telling it. He is a Zelda fan and immediately asked for a story about Legends of Zelda. It's abbreviation. He was bowled over by the 500-word story it produced about Link's adventures. Now I could, if I had time, I would actually go back and paste that output, which I'm not going to show you just now because it would lose the prompt. But he was bowled over by the 500-word story it produced about Link's adventures. Use that story, but also bring it back. How? That's the other thing. I haven't told it how we're using ChatGPT in our agency. If I left it to its own devices, it would just make up some really generic stuff about improving efficiency. So I have to be really specific. ChatGPT is working in our agency, and we are using it to create content like customer avatars, onboarding questionnaires, video scripts, and more. Use a charming and witty tone, but keep it similar to my previous email examples. And then finally, end the email with a CTA, 4 different options. So around, it might come up with a better idea, 4 different options of how people are using, asking people how they are using ChatGPT now, ranging from never heard of it through to I'm a ChatGPT master already. Here's the other thing, you can tell it to feel free to reword. I didn't put a lot of thought into that. So it can actually come up with something more engaging for, I think 4 options. Yeah, 4 options. And then we've got to think, is there anything else we want it to do in this email? Because we don't want to have to prompt it again to rewrite it because it takes a bit of time to rewrite. So I do want to give it a bit of instruction. Transition from the original Zelda to the agency part cleverly and subtly. Okay, that's what I'd be trying to do if I was writing it. In a word? No. In a subtle way. Right. Now, let's see what it comes up with. So it recognise that I said to use the first one, which is good. Hey there, knowing, you know how kids can sometimes have those aha moments. So important to nip it in the bud early if it's not doing the right thing. So let's have a look. So it's kind of taking a few creative liberties here in that it's saying, like, I got the idea to use AI. So I wasn't clear enough in the prompt. I should have said, like, put some timelines around it. So I was already using ChatGPT and then my son came in, but that's okay. We can edit this. So it's taking the story and saying it's been an absolute game changer. And it's just reading this is giving me ideas for little things to put in. Now I'm curious to know how you're using ChatGPT. So it's not too long, which is great. It's great. It has, oh wow. So this is where it really, quite amazing. So it's taken the Zelda story and it's using that in the prompts, which I would never have thought of, right? So it's people say it puts out garbage and it's not creative. This is where it's actually more creative than a human who's meant to be like a creative sort of person. So dabble with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my trusty sidekick in the marketing realm. So this is really good. Click here to cast your vote and let me know where you stand. So obviously you can change this up. So click the link above. I can't wait to see your responses. Learn how to. And I didn't actually tell it I'll create some content around what they say, but that's easy to change. So I'm now going to go and take this output, put it into a marketing email and send it out to my list. So it saved me like 20 minutes of actually writing. It's come up with ideas that I never would have thought of. And it's not perfect, but it's a great starting point and it's a really good additional tool to use in your marketing arsenal. So yeah, hope that's helpful.